What's up, Cub fans? On today's episode, we have two topics that we're looking at. On one side, we're looking at the offensive and defensive toughness of the Chicago Cubs in 2025. And then two, we're looking at the opening of free agency and the market for Michael King, a starting pitcher, which just might be one of the missing pieces for the Chicago Cubs in 2026. Do they sign him? Do they offer him a contract? He had recently declined his contract with the Padres, so we'll see what happens. We're going to talk about it and then some on this episode of Chicago Cubs Central. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. Listen, y'all, listen. I appreciate each and every last one of you guys that are tuning in to this episode. Thanks so much for spending time with your boy on your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. And throughout the offseason, of course, you know, we're going to cover not only the Chicago Cubs players and how they perform, we're also going to be talking about the potential of new signings and new players that could be joining the Chicago Cubs. Trust me, guys, you don't want to miss any of this. So please make sure that you hit that like, share, that follow button, and that subscribe button. Also, let me know if there's other things, guys, that you want me to talk about. Comment below in the comment section if there's other things you guys want me to talk about throughout these episodes. I would love to cover everything and give my points of view. Of course, you already know over here on the family, this is what we do on the CC3 fam. So now, with that being said, like I said, Michael King is a pitcher was a pitcher for the San Diego Padres, who just declined his mutual option with the San Diego Padres. So again, we ask ourselves, could the Cubs step in and offer a new deal? Michael King declined his $15 million mutual option for 2026 with the Padres, making him a free agent. In 2025, his numbers were impacted by injuries. He only made 15 starts. He finished with a 3.44 ERA and a 1.20 WHIP. Again, like I said, he would be. I see, and that's the thing. I want to be careful here because I don't want to necessarily say Michael King would be a project or a makeover project or somebody that the Chicago Cubs would tell me how do people have to work with, because I do still believe in this stuff. That changeup that man has is gross, and it offers a lot of swing and miss. He just dealt with a lot of injuries in 2025. Could he rehab in 2025 throughout this winter and be ready for 2026? Absolutely. Again, but he also, I mean, him declining his side of the mutual $15 million mutual option, either he wants to change the scenery or he's going to be looking for more money. I mean, like I said, is the team going to come and give him the Matthew Boyd treatment, where they offer him a decent sized deal, almost like a prove it deal to see where he could be? He is 30 years old. Like I said, so I mean, he's a little bit younger than Matthew Boyd, but again, there's still some tread on those tires. He has been around the block for a bit, so he is somebody that you have to look at and say, you know, is it actually worth doing all of that? So I don't know. His potential recent full season campaign came in 2024, where there he made 30 starts, posted a 2.95 ERA, and struck out 201 batters. So you have to look in between 2025 and his unhealthiness and 2024, where he was pretty dominant for the most part. Michael King was a guy for those San Diego Padres and somebody that they heavily leaned on in the 2024 season. So you look at that and you say to yourself, well, okay, could he come and be that for the Cubs? Well, he could, but he also could turn around and be the guy that's consistently injured too. You have to decide the means of which one you guys of which one is he willing? Are we willing to make the adjustments or make the opportunity for him to be able to come pitch for the Chicago Cubs? It just kind of depends. So his rated market value contract projections look to be somewhere around 4 years, $92 million, which isn't a bad contract for him, to be quite honest with you. Like I said, for what he brings, if he can stay healthy, he's a piece that can be a guy for the Chicago Cubs. Michael King, the former Yankee, also the former now Padre, is somebody that we know has some swing and miss stuff. And you guys are going to hear me talk about it over and over and over and over and over again. The Chicago Cubs need to get more strikeout pitchers. We have way too many guys on our pitching staff, starters and relievers, that are pitching to contact. And again, even with 3 Golden Glovers out there on the field this season, and multiple Golden Glovers out there that have won in the past, you still do not want to have to put them in a situation where they always got to make the play for you. Take the load off of them and allow some swing and miss. Some guys that got some deceptive stuff, and also some guys that can just overpower you. The Chicago Cubs, it's imperative that we build up our starting pitchers to be swing and miss guys. Justin Steele has some swing and miss stuff. Hopefully he'll be able to return back to form. But Justin Steele is not guaranteed to come back up until probably around sometime late June, early July. Last reports heard. So again, this guy is still rehabbing. You play a good large chunk of games, important games at that, around that time, and before he'll even make it back. And then when he makes it back, he's going to be on innings restrictions, pitch restrictions, everything like that. So they want to gotta bring him along easily. So again, the Chicago Cubs want to be careful with Justin Steele. So looking at somebody like Michael King makes a lot of sense for the Chicago Cubs. That's why I bring him on. That's why I did. That's why I'm doing this episode about him. So could the Cubs, could they offer King a multi-year deal with this upside when he's healthy and his experience as a starter? He presents an interesting target, though the health risk and recent inconsistencies raise caution. But again, if you look at him, you look at Dylan Cease, you look at a lot of those San Diego Padre pitchers. I mean, it's kind of been the same story about a lot of those guys. A lot of guys injury, lose velocity. Can they maintain? Can they get back to where they were? I believe in Tommy Hotovy and what he did with Matthew Boyd, and then what I'm assuming he's about to do with Justin Steele, really gives me a cause to pause for a second and really recognize that what he's doing with these pitchers, how they're able to rehab these pitchers, get them on these fair market deals, and then rehab these pitchers and bring their careers back to life and resurrect their careers, allows me to be like, I'm okay with getting somebody like Michael King, even though he might have injuries. Now, can you rehab him? Can he stay healthy? Is again the biggest concern with somebody like him. So when healthy, King has shown a top of the rotation type potential. But again, there's a lot of risk with him too. The shoulder and knee issues he had in 2025 gave him limited innings. He was not able to really be an impact player in the postseason, as short as it was for the Dodgers and for the Padres in that wild card series. So when you look at that, you say to yourself, what is it worth the risk to be able to have somebody like him out there? Again, you have to ask yourself, what type of contract makes sense for him? 3 to 4 years, moderate annual value. Do you want to do something incentives based, or do you want to have something that has to have innings and starts? He has to complete so many innings and so many starts. I think all these things make sense for the Chicago Cubs if you are going to go into business with Michael King, just to make sure that you cover yourself. And Jed Hoyer is very smart about this with his deals. I like the deals that he makes because he's very smart about these types of things and putting different clauses in contracts to make sure that the team is covered. And if a guy performs, he'll get paid. If a guy doesn't perform, he won't get paid. And it won't cost the Cubs as much either. And like I said, it won't be much of a loss if they end up DFAing the guy. So you won't be able to DFA Michael King, but you might be able to do something with a trade if things didn't work out and he did need another change of scenery. Now, again, how will Michael King complement the current staff? What role will he play? I look at Michael King as your number 3 guy right now, number 4 guy. If we have this current Cubs iteration going, He is somebody like that. Obviously, like I said, you look at Matthew Boyd being the top of the order type guy. You look at Cade Horton being the top of the order type guy. You look at a Jameson Tyone being your third guy. Slide Michael King into fourth, and then Shota Imanaga in your fifth spot. Man, how times have changed. Shota Imanaga was your opening day pitcher last year, and now we're sliding him all the way back to the fifth spot for the Chicago Cubs just after his year of struggles. Man, what a year makes. But it's the truth. And Cade Horton is a guy. He's shown you he's a guy for the Chicago Cubs, and he's going to continue to build off of that. So we'll see what happens. But I want you guys, I want your honest take on this. Is it a smart move for the Cubs to try and sign Michael King, or is it too risky? Let me know your thoughts below. Next up, we're going to talk about the Chicago Cubs and them seeing nothing but gold. I have been talking ad nauseum, and I still will continue to talk about the product, the brand that has changed my life and can change yours too. What's that product? It's Dubby. It's an all-natural energy supplement that you can take on the daily to help you get through those urges, those moments when you want to nap, then when you hit the cliff, or if you had a long night the night before and need to get through another crazy day of the hustle and bustle, the 9 to 5, whatever you got going on. Dubby is your energy drink. That's right. Not to mention, when you buy a container of Dubby, it actually equals out to almost $1 per drink. You can mix it in with whatever you want, whether that be a juice, whether that be a water, whether that be some type of other energy flavored drink, whatever you want, you can mix Dubby with it and it will do the trick for you. Guys, I don't understand what you're waiting on. Dubby takes care of everything for you. All you have to do is go on to the Dubby website and place your order. And at this time, when you do that, all you have to do is put in Cubs Central Pod 2024. That's right, Cubs Central Pod 2024. And you get 10% off on your Dubby order. That's right. Listen, guys, I'm telling you right now, Jitterless Energy. They have all different types of different flavors for you. Dubby has what you need. Be better with Dubby. The Chicago Cubs were just announced for the Golden Glove Awards. The Cubs grabbed 3 Golden Glove Awards for 2025. Ian Happ in left field, Nico Hoerner at second base, and Crow-Armstrong at center field. Just a couple of highlights for these guys. First and foremost, congratulations to all 3 of those guys. Definitely deserve their defense. Definitely showed throughout the season. Ian Happ winning his 4th consecutive Gold Glove Award. He led all National League left fielders in defensive runs saved with a +9 rating and only committed 1 error, 1 in 306 chances. Let me tell you guys something. Left field is not a sexy position at all to play in, but Ian Happ is the best defensive left fielder that we have. He is probably the best left fielder in all of the National League. I'm telling you guys, just what he's able to do out there is amazing, and how many runs he's able to save for the Chicago Cubs. So we look at Nico Hoerner then, his 2nd career Gold Glove, and he finished first among National League second basemen in outs above average for the first time in his career with a +14 stat there, and then defensive runs saved +17 on this one. So Nico Hoerner, guys, listen, I've already done the episode on Nico, and we've talked about him. And I know in the episode people thought I was being, disrespectful by asking should the Chicago Cubs trade Nico Hoerner. But at the same time, I was just saying, man, with what he's giving you, you could probably pull back a huge haul for him if you wanted to revamp your farm system. But all in all, the timetable Nico Hoerner is planning on, I suspect the Chicago Cubs will probably extend him. If not this coming winter, then definitely winter of 2026, he will be extended to probably a very lucrative contract for the Chicago Cubs heading into 2027. So, I mean, it just makes sense with everything that he's been able to do, and he stayed very healthy this year. He spoke about it when he was talking on the Marquee Network. He was talking about how his availability is what allows him or allowed him to be able to be so productive this season because of his availability and how he was able to be there and play games every day for the Chicago Cubs. And when you're there and you play, you're going to make if you're a good player, you're going to make runs. So like I said, it's a beautiful thing to see. Last but not least, to nobody's surprise, the black hole out there in center field, his first career Gold Glove, the first of what I assume will be many. Pete Crow-Armstrong posted a plus 24 outs above average, tie for the MLB leader among position players, and a plus 4.4 average foot average jump for versus average among outfielders. Pete Crow-Armstrong had this to say: Cubby Blue runs deep on the Armstrong side of things, but this year I learned in the best way I could about what the Chicago Cubs baseball means to this city. Congratulations, Pete Crow-Armstrong. It was such a fun season to watch him just grow and mature as a player, and all that he has become as a player for this team and really one of the faces for this team. So, like I said, super excited for all three of those guys to get their awards. Yeah, like I said, I mean, the Chicago Cubs could also have a platinum glove award winner in Pete Crow-Armstrong also. So stay tuned for that, because that is the highest of highest honors, which could also be coming to PCA. We'll have to see about that. But listen, guys, that's my time for today. I appreciate each and every last one of you that are tuned into this episode. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you follow us on X, on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, you can watch these episodes on Twitch. Thank you guys so much for everything. I appreciate you guys. Until next time, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and go Cubs go.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.